drones have gone from a niche form of photography to a must-have in your camera bag. It is easy to see how technology has made it so much easier for anyone to fly a drone. At the same time, mass production and rapid development have made consumer drones better and cheaper. When I first got into drones in 2013, I convinced my high school photo class teacher to buy a Phantom 1, which we strapped a GoPro onto. Back then, there were little to no regulations, and the technology was pretty primitive when compared to what we have today. There was no onboard camera, so you couldn't see from the drone's perspective, and to troubleshoot any errors in the field, you would need to rely on the flashing navigation lights on the drone. I've since owned the Phantom 3 Pro, Inspire 2, Mavic 2 Pro, and Air 2S. I am super grateful for how far these have come, but I always wanted the image quality of the Inspire in the size of the Mavic. Not only is this a technological and cost challenge, but I'm sure DJI has no desire to cannibalize their most expensive Pro line of drones. As technology has improved, I have seen this trend come true. With the introduction of larger sensors and 10-bit recording in the Mavic 2 Pro and Air 2S, and now finally the Mavic 3 Classic, which is the drone I want to focus on in this video. One of the biggest limitations early on was size. The Phantom series was greatly improved when it came to image quality, ease of use, and flight time, but it was an awkward shape which made it difficult to bring with you when you were traveling, which is the best time to have a drone because it allows you to capture different perspectives of these new and exciting places. The Mavic series addressed this issue by creating a folding style drone which was compact and easy to bring anywhere. Since I've been flying for so long, seeing these new features these drones have has been exciting. Something I used to attempt doing is now done with a click of a button. I especially like the hyperlapse modes such as point of interest and waypoints, and I also often find myself using them for normal video to ensure the camera movement is as smooth as possible. Cine mode is also a favorite of mine for making sure my footage is smooth and clean. But these are true of almost any modern drone, so let's talk about what sets the Mavic 3 Classic apart. One upgrade I initially overlooked was the increased battery life. Not only is this helpful for getting more coverage by giving you more time to find unique shots, longer hyperlapses, and further distances, but it also makes traveling with a drone easier. On my last trip to New Zealand, I only brought one battery with me and charged it in between flights while in the car, or off my spare V-mount battery, which I use to charge all of my devices. I used to never leave home without at least 3 drone batteries, but being able to charge the Mavic 3 via USB-C has made charging more convenient. The first drone I purchased for myself was the DJI Phantom 3 Pro back in 2014, and it was around $1,700 at the time, making it one of the most affordable and highest quality drones of its kind. It had features that at the time were considered state-of-the-art, such as GPS flight mode, return to home, and 4K recording, which are now considered the bare minimum criteria. The DJI Mavic 3 Classic costs about the same, coming at $1,749 with a remote and 1 battery and charger. This is a major upgrade considering I paid more for my DJI Mavic 2 Pro, and when the Mavic 3 first came out, the top of the line packages were upwards of $6,000, which is close to what I paid for my Inspire 2. I had to hold back when the first Mavic 3s came out because it seemed like a dream come true. All of the features I wanted in the exact form factor I wanted. But I'm so happy I waited because they continue to develop the series and they were adding things that I didn't want for added costs, such as extra lower quality cameras. And also earlier models had a lot of quirks such as issues with the GPS, which are things I did not want to deal with. The DJI Mavic 3 Classic checks all the boxes I needed at a much more affordable price point. In the past, it was always easier to spot when a consumer drone was being used for production. Poor dynamic range made capturing high contrast scenes like sunsets nearly impossible. They often could not shoot log, which left you with a crunchy, overly sharp image that lacked exposure information. Many drones also lacked aperture blades, which made controlling exposure difficult. Not only did it leave you to use your shutter speed to compensate for exposure, but also being stuck at f2.8 was less than ideal for filming landscapes, and even though the smaller sensor and far focus helped to ensure things were technically in focus, images still looked over-processed and crunchy. Alternatively, ultra-high budget drones used in movies often carried large and expensive cinema cameras with high-quality optics, which made the footage so dynamic and had so much depth that further divided the gap between consumer drones that were attainable by normal people and the look we desired. The biggest upgrade on this drone is the larger sensor. I've always been impressed with the image quality of my Inspire 2, but with its larger size and cost, it is often reserved for high budget productions and not my travel work. The main thing I notice on larger sensor drones is the amount of depth the image has. And I'm not just talking about depth of field. When an image is captured on a larger sensor, it has noticeably more detail. Having a larger sensor gives more physical space for the pixels to occupy, which means for a sensor of the same resolution, each pixel will be larger. This affects the image in a few different ways, such as dynamic range and low light performance, which are two of the main aspects we use to judge image quality. Better dynamic range is a major upgrade for these drones. Not only does a larger sensor help to improve dynamic range, but also the addition of log recording helps users capture the most exposure information possible. This greatly improves the drone's ability to capture many of the most desirable aerial scenes like sunsets, landscapes, and backlit environments. This has to be one of the most notable improvements in recent years. My main goal when using a drone is to give the viewer a new perspective without being pulled away from the video due to a lower quality or noticeably different clip. The newer and larger sensors have made this possible, where consumer drone video can be almost indistinguishable from my high quality video camera like my Sony a7S III or even my FX9. These measurements are from raw photos, but many of the things I discussed that are impacted by sensor size will hold true for video quality if all other specifications are the same, such as bit depth and spatial resolution. So when doing some research for this comparison, I noticed on Imatest's website that there were no measurements for the DJI Mavic 3 series. This has me wondering if they just haven't gotten around to it yet because it's such a new drone, or if there's another reason. For example, the Inspire 2 X5S has a nearly identical sensor specifications, and I'm wondering if DJI has just stolen the sensor from the Inspire 2 and put it into the Mavic 3, which would make a lot of sense, but also be pretty disappointing given the age of that sensor. Alright, well that does it. The Mavic 3 Classic is my pick for a drone for this year. I think it's the best value and it checks all of those boxes I was hoping for, especially size and image quality, which are my main two concerns when looking for a drone to bring with me on my trips. And if you guys like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. I plan on making more videos like this because I know it's difficult when you're looking to buy new gear. There's so much information out there and so many different things you can go with, but also you only have so much time and money. So videos like this, I'm hoping will help inform those decisions. And please feel free to leave me a comment if you have any questions about the Mavic 3 Classic or any of the other drones I mentioned in this video. I know that there's still some other valid options out there, so I'd be happy to explore other options with you guys. But please subscribe to the channel if you like this video. I really want to do more videos like this, whether it's talking more about cost-benefit analysis or more creative videos. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.